فاضل المرعب from College of Technology, Information Technology, Software Department. Or I have MA in English Language and Linguistics, University of Babylon, College of Human Sciences. Today our presentation is going to talk about the present simple as far as its form and use are concerned. As you know, the present simple is one of the tenses of the English language, and it is one of the main tenses of the English language. To start with the form, we are going to talk about three different forms. That is to say, number one, the positive, or you may call it affirmative or even statement, the negative form, and the question or the interrogative sentence. As far as the first form is concerned, which is the positive, we are going to classify the verb into two types according to the subject. If the subject is plural, then the verb should be in its base form. That is to say, there is no any addition. For example, when we have the subject is to be they, okay, they, which is a plural subject pronoun. For example, they speak two languages. You see, they and speak. The verb speak is in its base form. Here we have another plural pronoun, subject pronoun, which is we. For example, we live in London. Again, we live. The verb live is in its base form. We can add to these two subjects the I, the first person, which also takes a base form of the verb, just like I like coffee, okay? And the second person, which is, you, okay? Whether it is singular or a plural. For example, when we say you play tennis, here you, whether it is singular or a plural, in both cases it is second person. Its verb should be in its base form. This matching between the verb and its subject, we call it agreement or concord. That is to say, the verb should match its subject. If the subject is singular, then the verb should be singular, and we are going to say how. And if it is plural, then the verb should be in its plural form. In other words, it should not contain any addition, that is to say, in its base form. If we come to the other group of subjects, which is the singular subject, for example, we have he, she, and it. If the subject is a pronoun or any singular noun, for example, my brother, the teacher, the book, if it is inanimate, okay, which is going to be substituted with the subject pronoun it, which refers to the inanimate. The examples are going to make it clear. If we take the subject he, and we say he gets up at 8 o'clock. Pay attention. Here we have the verb get is with S. He gets up. Okay? So this S is called the third person singular S, which is added to the verb when the subject is singular and when the subject is in the third person. That is to say, when the subject is neither the speaker nor the listener, neither the first person nor the second person, or else it is the third person. So this S, which is added to the verb, is called the third person singular S, and you have to differentiate between it and the noun plural, okay, or the S plural, which we add to the nouns. Another example to make it clearer: she gets up at 8 o'clock or at 7:30. Okay, again, she gets, or my sister gets. So here, she and my sister are singular subjects. She is a pronoun, she is a pronoun, and my sister is a singular noun functioning as a subject in the sentence. That's why the verb should contain the third person singular s and the last singular subject, which refers to the inanimate, which is it, okay, or any inanimate noun. It breaks down again. For example, I'm talking about my car, okay, my car breaks down again. Or if we remove my car, the noun, and substitute it with a pronoun, then it's going to be it, because it is inanimate. This is as far as the first form is concerned, which is the positive. Then we move to the second, which is the negative form. We use do and does to negate the sentence. Do and does are auxiliary verbs. Okay, one of the main auxiliary verbs, in addition to the other two types, verb to be and verb to have. As far as do and does are concerned, how they are used, we use do with the plural subject, okay, and we use does with the singular subject. For example, I don't like coffee, okay, and we don't live in London. If you remember, I have told you that I and you are just like the plural subject pronouns. Their verb should be in its plural form, and as far as the auxiliary verb that matches with them, it is do, not does. So I, you, they, we takes the auxiliary verb do. I don't like coffee, okay, you don't play tennis, we don't live in London, and they don't speak English, or they don't speak two languages, for example. Now we move to the singular subject, which is he, she, and it, or any, as I have told you, singular noun. We have the auxiliary verb to be used here, it is does. For example, we say he doesn't get up at 8 o'clock. Why we use does here? Because the subject is singular, it is he, okay? The same thing is applicable to she and it. For example, she doesn't go out in the evening, and it doesn't work. For example, I'm talking about my watch, okay? I can say it doesn't work. So here, watch is inanimate entity, okay? That's why we have substituted it with the pronoun it. Now we move to the third form, which is the question. Here we have two types of questions: short answer questions and yes no questions. As far as short answer questions are concerned, they start with WH words. That is to say, where, for example, where, what, how many, when, and the other question words. For example, why, how much, etc., etc. Here, the WH word is followed by, we call it a subject-verb inversion. We are going to follow the question word with the auxiliary verb according to the subject, then followed by the subject, then the main verb should be in its base form. For example, when we say, where do you live? Here, this is a WH question. Okay, where is the question word? Do is the auxiliary verb used because the subject is a plural, which is a you, or even when it is singular. This is an exception. As far as you as far as you is concerned, it is an exception. It could refer to the singular or the plural. Another example is, what sports do we like? Here again, do, because the subject is we, which is the plural. And when does he leave work? Here we have used the auxiliary verb does, because the subject is singular, which is he. And we have the second type of questions, which is yes/no question. The first type is called WH question or short answer question. For example, when I say, where do you live? I expect you to answer me with a short question. With a short answer, okay? But with yes/no questions, you are going to answer with either yes, followed by positive complementation, or no, followed by a negative one. For example, do you like football? You are going to answer with either yes, I do, or no, I don't. The last point we are going to talk about is use. When do we use the present simple tense? We use it to talk about facts, okay, or actions that are repeatedly happened. In other words, they happen, the actions happen for all of the time. For example, my father works in a bank. This is a fact, okay? And the cafe opens at 7:30 in the morning. That is to say, every day, okay, the cafe is going to be opened at 7:30. And we have certain adverbs to be used with the present simple tense. They are called adverbs of frequency. We have never, sometimes, usually, and always. The possibility of repeating the action is clear in front of you. With never, it is 0%, with sometimes it is 40%, with usually it is 90%, and finally with always it is 100%. For example, we never watch TV. She sometimes go out for a walk, for example, and they always have tea for breakfast. That's all for our lecture. Thank you very much for your